Now that our basic story structure is in place in the form of a rough cut, we can now begin to refine our edit by removing, replacing, and adding new material to our project. As you'll discover in this lesson, Final Cut Pro 10 has some incredible new tools for shaping your story, such as the new and improved Range Selection tool, a fast and efficient replace edit feature, and an amazing new clip functionality called Audition that makes trying out different shots in the context of your project literally a snap. Before we begin this lesson, make sure you have the project loaded up from the previous lesson. As your project grows in complexity and deadlines loom, it becomes increasingly important to quickly locate the clips you want to work with. Final Cut Pro 10 has a new feature called a Timeline Index that allows you to see all your timeline material at a glance. In the lower left of the timeline, click the icon that looks like a page or press Shift-Command-2. A pane will appear that lists all the clips that are currently being used in your project. There's a search field for inputting text such as clip names and/or keywords. The two buttons below the search field allow you to view your timeline content by clip name or by tags, also called keywords. Along the bottom of the window are some buttons that let you control what project content is displayed. For example, you may want to see only the audio clips for a project, or perhaps only titles. Of course, there's nothing displayed for titles because we haven't created any yet. Click on the video button. Let's say we wanted to locate the Dave interview in the project. Just click on the name and the clip becomes selected in the timeline. In fact, click on any clip in the index and those clips become selected. Pretty cool. We'll visit this index as we progress throughout the tutorial. I just wanted to introduce you to it now. Press Shift-Command-2 to close the pane. One of the most useful tools in Final Cut Pro 10's new arsenal of editorial weapons is the Range Selection tool. Some of you might be saying to yourself, hey, this tool isn't new. We had this tool in the old Final Cut Pro. As you'll soon discover, this tool has been completely reimagined, and it provides new functionality for a myriad of editorial tasks, 3-point editing, volume changes, and even retiming clips. So other than the name, this new tool has very little in common with its predecessor. Because this lesson deals with refining the edit, you'll be using the Range Selection tool to remove unwanted material, then later use it to set up and execute a traditional 3-point edit. Make sure you have the project loaded up from the previous lesson. Locate the Dave interview, then press the Z key to call up the Zoom tool. And click a few times to zoom into it. Press A to switch back to the Selection tool. To refamiliarize yourself with the interview, let's look at a quick way to play back just the interview clip using a couple of useful keyboard shortcuts. Make sure your skimmer is parked anywhere over the Dave interview, then press the X key. The entire clip becomes enclosed with a yellow selection rectangle. Now press the / key to play the clip from the beginning to the end of the selection.
We've done events like this in front of thousands and thousands of people. So for them, it's a way to learn what living history is like. Now,
at about halfway through the clip, Dave uses the word "so" to help him connect his thoughts. This adds a needless pause in his otherwise perfect delivery. Skim to the spot in the audio where this occurs, at roughly 13 seconds. We're going to remove this word. From the Tools pop-up, choose Range Selection or press R on your keyboard. Notice as you move your mouse over the clip, the mouse cursor changes to a tiny selection rectangle, and just like the Selection tool, you can skim over your clips to locate specific audio or video frames. Place your cursor just before the word "so." You can clearly see this word represented by the spike in the waveform. Drag to the right until the unwanted word is enclosed by the rectangle. To check the accuracy of your selection, press the / key. To remove this range of frames, press Delete on your keyboard. The unwanted material is extracted from the timeline. Let's undo that edit because I want to show you an alternate way to do this. Press A to return to the Selection tool, skim to the frame just before the unwanted word and press I on your keyboard. Now skim to the end of the word and press O. Creating a range selection this way achieves the same result as making the same selection using the Range Selection tool. Creating a selection range using the I and O keys has the additional benefit of keeping you from having to constantly use your mouse to create the selection. Press delete to extract the unwanted frames. Play back the edit to see how it works.
This in front of thousands and thousands of people. For them, it's a way to learn what living history is like.
The audio is nice and tight now, but because we made an edit in both the picture and the sound, we now have a jump cut to deal with. To hide the cut, hold down your Command key and select the two connected clips. Using your period key, nudge the connected clips until the Union firing line clip is covering the jump cut. Play the edit back.
In front of thousands and thousands of people. For them, it's a way.
Sometimes you just want to make quick splices in your clips. Like the guillotine splicers of yesteryear that utilized a weighted blade to chop through film to create an edit, Final Cut Pro, in like manner, utilizes a blade tool to functionally accomplish the same thing. The next clip in the timeline is a rather lengthy interview clip of a Civil War reenactor discussing why he likes to take part in historical recreation events. We're going to use the second part of the interview where he talks about representing history in the right way. Skim to the frame just before he says, "If you care about where you live," and park your skimmer just before this line. Press B on your keyboard to call up the blade tool. Your cursor changes to a razor blade. Click once to split the clip at the skimmer. Press A to switch to the selection tool, then select the first half of the interview clip and press delete. Let's undo that last edit because I want to show you a variation of the blade tool that will save you a few steps. As before, skim to the frame just before Steve says, "If you care about where you live." Now press Option left bracket. This shortcut will trim from the start of the clip to the skimmer position and remove all the unwanted material in one fell swoop. Option right bracket will do the opposite. That is, the clip will be trimmed from the end of the clip to the skimmer position. In case you're wondering, both of these commands are found in the Edit menu.